All right. So Joe Budden interviewed Adam22 amidst all the things that have been happening on his AMP platform, I believe. And he's asking him questions about all the things that have happened. So let's get right into it. Let's go.
Adam, do you have a better understanding on the point that myself and my co-hosts were trying to make to you when you were on our podcast? One of those points being about how white privilege allows for white people to come inside of hip hop culture, use it and milk it for every single penny they can, and at the drop of a dime, change direction and act like they want nothing to do with any of that nigger bullshit.
He ain't making the money you are. You sitting there interviewing these black kids that are fucking killing each other and y'all monetizing it. That's not cool. I don't give a fuck what they talking about in they songs. Y'all are turning a profit off of this black trauma of them killing each other. Yeah, they the ones doing the killing because they young and they dumb and they don't fucking know no better.
Okay, but Joe, this is a fake narrative because I interviewed 4 rappers yesterday. I interviewed like 12 rappers last week. The idea that I'm like fully pivoting out of hip hop is not true. In reality, I'm trying to,
That's a damn lie.
Also do other kind of content.
How could you?
That's a damn lie. You had all the time in the world to fully pivot out of hip hop. Why do it now? Why all of a sudden now do you want to fully pivot out of hip hop? You lying. That's a lie. You are trying to fully pivot out of it. You are trying to fully pivot out of hip hop. Talking about you interviewed 12 it's because those rappers want to be on your platform. You didn't ask them to come. They came there. I'm sure they voluntarily wanted to come up to the show themselves. You didn't ask them to come, did you? You are fully trying to pivot out of hip hop. I mean that's if the Destiny interview is not apparent of that, then I don't know what is. Come on, bro.
How could you expect, I guess what I'm asking, how could you expect to not have any problems at your network, which is hip hop based for the most part, would you say? Or at least the people you've surrounded yourself with are hip hop based. And then you start bringing in Richard Spencer. Can you talk to me about the decision to bring Richard Spencer on your show with no black people present?
Hail Trump! Hail our people! Hail victory!
It wasn't on the Tuesday show, but it was. I arranged a debate between Destiny, who's like a very popular left-wing commentator, and Richard Spencer. And I really didn't think, like, in terms of the other hosts, I didn't think this would be an issue, primarily because of the fact that, AD had been the one who wanted to have us interview Nick Fuentes, or we did like a debate, I guess, quote unquote, at a certain point a couple months ago. But I guess he felt different about the Richard Spencer thing or whatever. And the other criticism I saw from Van Lathan was just that the debate was a little bit too much of a debate, that we didn't really take time to dig into the creation of the alt-right and racist statements that Richard Spencer's made in the past and everything, because his narrative that he's pushing now is that he's a changed man and he doesn't, harbor ill will towards whoever. And in the context of a debate, I didn't think it would be.
Him thinking that nobody who works for him wouldn't have had a problem with this that's very, what's the word? That's very would narcissist be the word for that? It's very, I guess, narcissistic of him to think that none of the people he works with is not going to have a problem with reformed, allegedly neo-Nazi, or an allegedly reformed neo-Nazi, which I don't even think he's reformed at all. I think he still has those ideologies in the back of his head, I feel like, but I don't know, that I guess that's just, I feel like that's Adam22 being naive of the whole entire situation of him bringing that guy on his platform.
To be that controversial for us to platform.
So, Adam, I admire the business that you've built, and I don't think any idiot could do it. Would you say that you've handled that? One of the criticisms were that you handled Richard Spencer with kid gloves.
Mm.
I definitely think the thing I should have done is I should have pulled back at a certain point and I should have tried to really zero in on any kind of negative statements about black people or anything racist in general. Because it seemed like we focus more on the like liberal conservative binary and less on the, you know, the perception of him or the reality of him having, you know, inspired a lot of hate over the years.
So yes, you acknowledge that one of
Yeah.
those criticisms are that you handled him
There's so many words.
with kid gloves.
Yeah, I mean, it probably should have been more of an interview. It probably should have spent more time on, let's go over some of the major things that you've been associated with that are kind of ugly or very ugly. And yeah, I definitely failed to a certain extent by not spending more time on that, given my audience and how a lot of people in my audience probably would have wanted to hear more about all that.
A lot of the audience is people of color.
One of my criticisms of you was, as a white man occupying space in the hip hop space, that you should probably handle more of these rappers and black people with care as you report on them. You don't see that parallel?
No, I see it for sure, but it's also like when I'm interviewing a rapper, it feels more.
Do you not see how it would look away that you handle a known Nazi
differently
with more care than you do
than
some of our greatest
a rapper? Yeah.
Well,
or
one,
other entertainers,
I
yeah.
The idea that I'm like so insanely hard on most rappers, because I interview rappers all the time where I avoid huge chunks of you know, controversial shit that I could be asking them just out of respect, because I know they've talked about it on other platforms, etc. My only thing I could say to defend the tone of the Richard Spencer debate was that he didn't say anything racist during the debate necessarily, or at least I didn't really pick up on anything too major.
Right. Great. He didn't say anything racist in front of you. So that's supposed to change something. He's still a POS, man, bro. Like,
huh?
That's awesome.
Because that would have made, you know, in the context of a debate, it just didn't really feel like I should have gone through the greatest hits of like, these are the most messed up things you've ever done or whatever. I mean, you know, I wish I had, because it definitely would have helped to cushion some of the criticism we got from doing that interview. But also, like, from my perspective, doing content, like, I want to push at the edges of what's considered acceptable. And Richard Spencer is somebody who's basically been blacklisted from the media for the last like 6 years or so. And the idea that I was going to get to put somebody who I consider probably one of the best minds on the left on camera with this guy, I mean, that was just, that to me, that was like an incredible opportunity. And I tried to pay Van Lathan to be on the podcast with me. I tried to holler at a few different people, but generally speaking, nobody was really feeling it.
Did anyone at your network express their displeasure with that decision?
AD said something about it on his show. Yeah. Just that he was disappointed in the tone.
of course he's disappointed. Why wouldn't a member of your staff why wouldn't a veteran of your staff voice his frustrations about how he was uncomfortable with you interviewing a neo-Nazi in the same building that him and all your other content creators, other bosses, other people who are building their own platforms? Like, why wouldn't he stand up and say, yo, I didn't like this. I didn't like it at all. I'm not feeling it. He has a right to. They all have a right to, because it's like, at the end of the day, no pun intended, they all have to come up there and they all have a job to do. And how does it make me as a journalist or whatever that works at No Jumper look when I have to go into work and, you know, see somebody who is at the forefront of hating people of my color, and I gotta act like that didn't happen. Like, come on, bro. Come on, make it make sense, man. I'm gonna be back with some more videos. Stay tuned.